This week's guest is a name that a lot of you will have heard about or read about recently. So he really doesn't need much of an introduction, but we are very, very pleased to have the company of JAHID Ahmed. JAHID, how are you, sir?
Very well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
That's quite all right. That's quite all right. Obviously, you have been in the news because of this whole subject of racial allegations that have come up in the world of cricket. Obviously, they started at Yorkshire and they've come down to Essex now. First of all, what made you want to speak about these things? It must have built up over a period of time, but is it because of what Rafiq has come out with that's brought you forward to speak out?
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously we've been hearing these things anyway. I mean, as in Rafiq only recently spoken about, but he's been speaking about it quite a long time now, to be honest. And we've heard these little stories, but at the end, when he came out to in the parliamentary, where he spoken about in front of DCMS, so that was that's what obviously inspired so many people to speak out and have the gut to come out and talk about it. I mean, before that, I was holding back. Wasn't too sure if I want to speak out or not. So yeah, obviously as in Rafiq's testimonial, when that came out, I think that's when everyone started to speak, have a bit courtesy to come out and talk about the experience. And I think for me, I was 50-50 before that anyway. I wasn't too sure if I wanted to talk about it. And I was holding back, and suddenly when I saw a few of the guys come out from Essex, Zobi and Maurice, these guys come out and spoke about it, and I think that probably encouraged me even more to not only to support my teammates, talk about it, but also I felt like I had to share my experience, and I think that's where I felt quite bravery to come out and talk about it, to be honest, after listening to these guys. And I think Azim's obviously, look, his testimony, obviously, it got to me. It really did get to me. And because some of the things did remind me of my experience when I was there. And it got to me when he spoke about his kid, when he lost his son, and no one actually asking how he was and these sort of things. I mean, how inhuman is that? I mean, that just really got to me, and I thought, you know what? That's enough is enough. I'm going to start coming out and start speaking, because as a father, I just can't imagine what someone can go through when they lose their son. I mean, I just don't know. I lost for word for that one, to be honest. And I thought I'm going to come out and try to support this cause as much as I can. So that's why I actually did come out and start to go and speak about it.
So Jay, the Yorkshire point has been in the press for over a year, probably 15 months or so. It's taken that long for them to do something about this, and it's something that Darren and I have championed on the show for pretty much the whole of that period of time. But I guess your frustrations obviously must go back 15 years, back to when you first experienced these issues. So have you just carried that behind, as a package, kind of along, thinking I need to do something about this, but I don't know how, I don't know when?
I'll be honest with you, obviously it's always back of your mind. I mean, we've had this so many years, that this racial slurs and bullying, the culture that we went into, that's always been going on. And I was very young anyway back then. I just thought, when I saw all of these going on, I thought, this is just a normal things. I just thought that's normal. That's what normally happens when you go to these places, and that's how I felt. And I didn't feel like I was able to say anything, because we always were too scared about talking about it anyway, because we thought if you start raising your voice or say anything about it, they might just turn around and say, well, if you don't like it, mate, here's the door. That's the sort of way we felt. Like, I mean, I've said it before as well. I felt like I was a white man's world, where we just felt like we weren't allowed to say anything, even though we did. I remember when I was called curry muncher, that word, very first time I experienced that word, and I did question about that, and I did go speak to the individual who made that comment. Sorry, before I did go to him, actually, I did speak to some of these senior players that I know, and I said, do you know why? What does that even mean? Why do they call us curry munchers? They said, listen, don't worry about it, just ignore it, just concentrate on your cricket, and that was it. And I did have guts one day to ask him, so why do you call us curry muncher? What does that even mean? Because that's because you guys think of curry, that's why. And he just, and I thought, okay, is that how it is then, is it? Okay. So I just thought, all right, just suck it up and just move on. I mean, since then, until what, 2009, I was there, and we just continued with it and just sucked it up and just got on with what we could do, just play cricket, and that's it. There's nothing else we thought we could do about it. We fear if you did say anything or whatever happened, we might jeopardize our contract and not fitting in with the teams. And at the end of the day, it's a team game. We have to fit in. We've got to find a way to make sure it's a teamwork, whether it's on and off the field. And that's what we had to do.
I've got a lot of sympathy for this. I've had similar experiences. Do you find when you're dealing with these characters that someone calls you a curry muncher and you're told to get on with it? Do you find that these characters get more and more brave, like they're poking the stick harder just to see how far they can go before that you get completely provoked?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I don't know what the intentions are. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. All we knew when we went in there, because I was like I said, I didn't understand these racism things before anyway. Very young. I've never faced this kind of racism before, and I wondered why they did it. I do wonder why they do it. Whether it's to, well, clearly there's of course there's racism there, but however, I also try to think, did they do that because they want to make a joke out of you so they can become a bit more popular out of front of their friends and whoever they are, and that they become the favorite sort of person in a dressing room? So I think as well as being racism comments are made, I think they also feel like they want to fit in with the team. So they made those sort of comments just to fit in. So I think that might be a reason why they do it. But yeah, I mean, look, it went on for a long time. And I do believe this still goes on around the whole country, to be honest. I think these little banter they talk about and jokes they make regarding your cultures, religion, race, that goes on continuously. And I think some people don't even realize what they say, because going back to Azim's comment that he made about how it felt like a normal things, people just realized it just became just normal, and they didn't realize what they were saying sometimes. It's just so normal, and that's where some of the young people coming into the dressing room, and they come into that culture and they fall into that trap where they got to say something, or they got to do this, or they got to do that. And some of them even made comments to me as well when they come into the dressing room. And I think it's that environment, again, it's not a very good environment to be in when you come in. It's a very toxic environment.
You look back fondly on your time at Essex, or has this really, really tainted it?
Sorry, Webby, I didn't hear that. Say that again.
Do you look back fondly on your time at Essex, or has this tainted it to a degree where you don't even want to think about it?
It's a bit of both, because again, as a young lad, to get yourself a professional contract, I mean, that's just amazing achievement. I mean, you got millions and millions of people trying to become a professional cricketer. And for me to achieve that, I mean, that was incredible. As you can imagine, as a 18 years old lad who got myself an academy contract, and then got myself a professional contract. I mean, this is amazing. Playing with probably the legends of the games. When I went into the dressing room, the biggest name you can think of, to be around them, to play cricket with them, play against them, it was incredible. in that side, it was amazing. Some of the opposition I played against, you know, going back to my debut, my one-day international, my debut I made against was Sri Lanka. It was a 2-day game for first team I played against Australia, the Ashes 2005 team. I mean, when you look back to those things, you just think, I mean, let alone playing for Essex, but you're playing against that one of the biggest teams in the world, who've been dominated cricket for many years. And these are the experience was unbelievable. Turning up to the ground, seeing the crowds and all those legends of the game playing with you, playing against you. It's incredible. Now, downside was obviously facing those bullying in the dressing room. The class, you know, there's a lot of class issue as well. I think people tend to forget that, and we'll come to that as well, I'm pretty sure, when we talk about it. You know, public school boys are dominated in the game. You know, I do ever remember a lot of the players, they even won't look at you. Forget about greeting you. They won't look at you, just walk past you, just that's it, go off. Wow. Oh yeah, I've had that, so many years of that. They probably think, you know, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
And that's a problem with not just Essex dressing room. That's across pretty much everywhere. You know, they feel like they're the bigger than everyone. Really big-headed people, really arrogance. You get that a lot, to be honest. And that bullying is obviously something that I said already. People do that. I think majority of them just do that just to become the favorites in the dressing room, become the joker of the dressing room, so people can like you. It's like any jobs that you do, not just sports. We talk about any jobs. You know, people say, "Oh, you know, you're sucking up to your bosses, whatever." I mean, that's pretty much what happens in cricket dressing room at the same time. People will do anything to make sure they get the contract again for the next year. They will do anything, even if they have to insult you to get that, so be it.
What about the senior people at Essex? If all of this is going on, and what you're supposed to do, whether it's cricket or anything else, you're supposed to go to your superior, and there's supposed to be mechanisms in place to deal with this kind of thing. Was that in place at Essex, or was it just brushed aside?
Never, ever we've had any sort of mentions about how we should respect one each other. We're talking about race, culture, religion, nothing. It's interesting. I was reading today about on the Sky Sports News about Ashley Giles spoken about how he has never had any, in the 30 years, they never had any sort of education regarding this. Well, never do we. We never had any of that. No one even mentioned about anything like so. And to be honest, even if I did have the voice to go speak to any senior players there, I wasn't able to. We were in that environment. We weren't allowed to say anything because we weren't given opportunity to say it. No one even asked. No, even I can't even recall back and to say, I don't think any coaches one day did ask me, Jay, how's your life going? Or how's your family, and how's everything? Is everything all right at home? I mean, I don't think I've never had that conversation with anyone in the dressing room, ever. Never. As a coach myself, I would be worried about my players' well-being. That's the first thing first I'll be trying to do, would be try to speak to my player, see how he is, what his home life is like. I mean, these sort of things I would be first looking into. Even I do my one-to-one coaching right now, I would make sure I find out a little bit background about that person before I do go any further. Because obviously you can't treat everyone the same way. You got to know the player, you got to know their history, and that's how you create a bond. However, we never ever had anything like that. Like I said, it was such a selfish dressing room. No one gave a damn about anyone. No one.
I think one of the things that Darren and I have mentioned a couple of times on the show over the years is that comparing to the corporate world where Darren and I earn our crust, the sporting world is way behind. And one of the references that we've made in the past is Ollie Robinson, the way that was dealt with, the way that it was surfaced, the whole thing. And the corporate world is only very recently waking up to matters of mental health and well-being.
Yeah.
The sporting world, the cricketing world in particular, seems to be so far behind that aside from issues of racism and bullying, just what you said there about people's general awareness of how others might be feeling, it's just so far behind.
Massively. It's massively. I think you're right about what you said about other corporation and other institution. When you go there, people do look into that mental side issue of it. I don't remember at all talking about this at all while I was in Essex. I'd never had this of support, nothing. Like I said, I had not even saying how are things at home, nothing like that from my coach, never. I mean, that's how it was. And I suppose in a way though, I think it did make it a lot tough mentally, because this is how we had to deal with. And it did, like I said, I had to suck it up and get on with my job, just do what I need to do, and that's it. It came to that point. Sorry, I do want to say a few positive about that as well, by the way. I don't want to just paint the whole thing as a negative thing. I had come across some great people in the dressing room. I could name quite a few of them who I looked up to since I was young. They were my cricketing heroes when I was growing up. Watched them on TV international when they were playing, and I think I've learned a lot. I mean, people like Andy Flower, Grant Flower, the brothers there. I mean, I can't speak highly enough, what they did, when I was there. I remember Grant Flower always used to say, Jake, let's go. Come on, let's go to the gym. Or let's go to do some throwdowns. Right, you bowl with me now, and I'm going to bowl with you. These sort of things. And it's just helped me so much. He taught me how to work hard. And he's from Zimbabwe, and these guys work really, really tough. And he taught me how to be tough in that side of it. And I still talk about this. Everyone I speak to, I mean, that's something I always speak about, how Grant really helped me that time in terms of how to work hard and make sure you give in every chance to make sure you get yourself up there to play for a team. Play for a first team or second or wherever it was. And you don't give any excuses for the coaches to pick on you to say, well, you haven't done your fitness, or you haven't done this, you haven't done that. So at least you covered that area. And that was really, really, I was really pleased with having help from Grant all the time.
How was it going home after a day of putting up with all of this abuse? And did you open up to your family about it, or did you just did you bottle it up? No,
I mean, I remember my dad once told me, that doesn't matter if you're born and bred here, mate, Essex, Chelmsford, whatever, just don't forget that you are brown, okay? Just remember that. And he was right, because, that's how we used to get treated all the time. So whatever you do, be extra careful of what you do. Even if you're going to work, going to the gym, go twice as hard anyone else, because they're not going to look at you same way as they do the others. So you need to be very careful how you go about that. And I do remember that, and I did. I never spoke to my family about anything. No, I never did. I do remember coming towards, was it 2008, and definitely 2009. I used to wake up and thinking, oh, here we go, another day. What am I going to do this time? Oh, I'm playing for twos again. Or, oh yeah, here we go, I'm going to carry drinks for first team. I wonder what they're going to say this time now. Who's going to pick on me today? Or who's going to say this? Or who's going to say that? Who's going to bully me? So he's always in the back of your head. I even sometimes remember I used to go past some of the players, just go around it so they don't see me. So at least they won't make it fun out of me. So at least I'll get away with that. So I did used to think that way when I used to walk past the dressing room sometimes, some of the players. But yeah, I mean, looking back to it, mate, it wasn't a great experience those times. And I really, really want to continue play for Essex as long as I could, or even professionally, really. And I'll be honest with you, I've had ambitions to play for England one day as well. It might sound a bit big-headed for me to say that, but I really believed that I could easily play in that level and actually go on and play for England. I think looking at some of the players that are playing for England, I'm sure people will say the same thing I'm going to say now. I mean, we played with them, played against a lot of them, and I reckon my work ethic would have got me through that easily to get to that stage, because talent only gets you to a certain place. It's a hard work behind it that goes behind it, and that gets you to top level. And I believe I had that easily. The work ethic, like I said, I've learned from the best, and I was very good at that. Without that, I was one of the fittest in the dressing room. And I think if you do speak to any of them from my time at Essex, people will tell you the same thing. They will say, yep, Jay, without a doubt, was one of hard working person, was there. And I can guarantee that.
I think you're right. I think Alistair Cook's a good example of that, where he's always, and I've spoken to him personally about this, and he felt he didn't necessarily have the talent that other people, even in the Essex dressing room, that necessarily he wasn't as gifted as they were, but his work ethic, he worked harder and harder and harder and got to where he was just through hard work.
That's exactly the same thing with the Paul Collingwood. I mean, he's not the most talented cricketers, but goodness me, that boy can work hard. I mean, Alistair Cook was a machine. I wish I'll spend a bit more time with Alistair Cook, but because he was always involved with the England team, it was very, very rare to see him in the dressing room and to sit down and speak to him and talk about things and this and that. So it was difficult to get hold of him a lot. He's always busy with his own things. But I can tell you easily, that bloke is just a machine. When it comes to fitness test, goodness me, he used to outplay us easily. And even then, he never used to puff out, and he still kept going. So again, seeing all these things, yes, of course, he used to inspire me to make sure I get to that level as well. And I did. I worked very hard to get there. I used to remember sometimes I used to go in the morning gym. Actually, no, not sometimes. I did that a lot. I used to go in the morning gym. Then I used to go in the evening again, twice a day I used to go. And I clearly remember one day my personal trainer and our physio did say to me, listen, Jay, I think you've got to be careful about how much work you're doing. I said, yeah, I know what my body can take. I know what I can do, but I just want to make sure I don't fall behind on any of these things. And I need to work twice as hard as anyone at the moment, because that's how I feel I need to do. So I do remember that when they pulled me up once, the physio.
Did you train that hard all the way through Ramadan as well? Because you fast, don't you?
Sorry, say that again?
Did you train that hard when you were fasting as well?
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, to be honest, during fasting time. Oh, by the way, fasting time that came in towards 2009, so towards September that time when we were playing. So before that, I never had any issues with that. Because it was during winter anyway that time. Because obviously Ramadan, every 10 days it comes up every year. Sorry, every year it comes up by 10 days. Because that's the Arabic calendar. That's how it works, and that's how it is. So I never had that issue throughout during Ramadan, because I was able to still fast, and I still do work. Oh gosh, yeah, I still go to the gym. But my mum used to tell me off not to go to the gym. And I said, well, this is my professional life, I have to. And she used to get you worried about it. I said, look, it's fine, I can handle it, I know what I can do. But yeah, I mean, that you had to. I think now, I'm 35 years old. I still play cricket during Ramadan, bowling 10 overs, still batting and running around in the field. My old body's still going through it. So yeah, I can take it.
I remember a few years back, I think you were playing for Blackheath at the time, but you came back to Brentwood and beat us, by the way. Thanks for that. It was a searing hot day and you'd been tearing in.
Yeah.
And everyone came off for a drink and for tea and you had nothing. It was like, how can he operate like that?
Yeah.
Testament to your fitness, right?
Yeah, I've been drilled in, mate, when I was young age. The mental toughness, you had to. Like I said, experience I've had through my whole career. You just have to, like I said, toughen up, suck it up, move on.
And I guess that mental toughness also goes for, obviously their experiences at the moment, because having gone through what you went through at Essex, you could quite easily have just said, you know what, I'm done with cricket. I don't want to play club cricket anymore because I've been hurt by cricket as a sport. But you're still going now and you're playing some, really, really well. Your stats on play cricket are amazing and you're loving it, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, to be honest, I think when I finished with Essex, I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, that was probably the darkest time of my life because all I knew was cricket, and that's all I knew. All my life, I used to breathe cricket all the time. And I think when I got released by Essex, I was really, really in a dark place. I didn't know what to do. I was thinking, what the hell, what am I going to do now? I mean, I don't have great qualifications. I don't know what am I going to do. What am I going to do? So I think that time it did really hit me hard. And I did speak to some of the counties where I could go trial, do this, do that. And I did go there, but I had to drag myself to go there. I wasn't like up for it. I wasn't really thinking, right, today I'm going to go and do this, do that. I just went with it. And I just never felt like I was going to, I wasn't happy basically. And I had to drag myself to get there. And that to me felt like, well, I'm not ready. Well, I don't want to do this anymore. That's what I felt. And it got to a stage thinking, if I'm not liking it and if I'm not enjoying it because it hurt me so bad, I think I need to stop, because otherwise I'm just going to damage myself even more. And I think that time was very tough. And I had no one around me to support me. I had no one around me to give me some sort of advice to what to do regarding my career or what I can do, what I can't do. PCA done nothing for me. They're absolutely useless, I'm afraid.
That's what they're supposed to do, isn't it?
They've done nothing for me, mate. I mean, I did speak to him back then as well. Again, no help, no support, nothing. It's useless. Even till now, I've had no issues. No help with them at all. Anyways, but I do not regret that decision I made then, because I think I decided to become a coach. And the reason it inspired me the most to do it, because I felt what I've been through and the hardship that I had, I do not, and I promise myself, I do not, any kid that I know, I do not want them to go through the same issues that I've faced. And I will make sure that doesn't happen. And I would do anything to support that person. I don't care if I get paid to do it. I don't care if I do it for free. That's not my intention. My intention is, as long as that child is happy, they had a good experience, that was the only thing that was in my head. And that's exactly what I've done.
I've been talking to a lot of people recently from the Black and Asian community about this whole thing. It's a big talking point. An interesting point that's come up time and again is that there are lots and lots and lots of people in the game that have been on the end of the type of abuse that you and Rafiq have talked about. They're too scared to come forward because they don't want the limelight. They've seen what's happened to Rafiq with being discredited and stuff being dragged up. When you were going through your troubles at Essex, did you feel like you were being singled out, or was it a kind of a general thing to anyone that was around there that had brown or black skin that was the subject for abuse?
Certain players, I felt like I was singled out, but in generally it was, yeah, I mean, everyone really. But there's one or two individuals I thought they always felt like it was an easy target to pick on me. and they're the one made my life a bit miserable throughout my experience in Essex. Yeah, it's a bit of both, but yeah, a bit of both.
Do you think, Casey, you're born in Chelmsford, you grew up in Burnham, etc., and you've come up through the league system and club. When you play league cricket and club cricket, it's very common to come up against people from different cultures, different backgrounds. This is my personal view, all right? I look at Essex, I look at the members, I look at the staff, the committee, anyone that walks around with an Essex blazer or whatever, or sits in the pavilion, they all tend to be of a certain type. Do you think there's a dislocate between Essex as a county and the Essex League in terms of representation and demographics? Because certainly at club level, and you look around, there's club chairman, there's club officials, it's very diverse, but it's not at county level. Why is that?
Well, Darren, I mean, you're talking about just a little bit there. I mean, that goes around not only in sports. I mean, this is we're talking about in educational system. I mean, we're talking about senior leaders we're talking about here. And there's not representative from the minorities. Even though you have Essex League, got a lot of Asians. I'll give you an example. When I trialed for Essex back in when I was 16 years old. I remember when I turned up, we had roughly about 50, probably say about 50 kids, I say. And probably 10 white kids and 40 Asians and blacks, actually.
Yeah.
Can you guys guess out of those kids, how many made it through to become a professional cricketer? Just have a guess.
I want to say 10, but
wow, that would be a miracle if that was the case.
No.
Only myself.
Right.
Out of my age group, only one made it to professional level is myself. Now, again, don't forget, I wasn't your typical Asian type of person who grew up from London, and the way we spoke. Obviously, I was lucky enough to grow up in Burnham and Crouch, where I didn't get into troubles. I was well behaved. I had good people around me, so my manners was completely different. When I remember turning up to that trial, seeing those Asian boys, how they talk and how they dress and this and that, straight away that puts people off, and I can guarantee you those boys probably 10 times better than I was. And they never looked at if they could make it further or not, because they just didn't, they felt like if they pick one of the lads to come and play, they'll be hard work. They won't fit in, these sort of things. So they always looked at it that way. So there was a bit of barriers there. And it's been dominant. Listen, we like I said, it's not in just cricket. I mean, all the school that I go to now and work in schools, even I go to Tower Hamlets. I mean, that's majority of the Bangladeshi community there. Greenwich, Lewisham. You got a West Indian and African. You can think so many background there. But every time I go to a school, the whole school could be only black kids only, but the senior leaders are just white. And you don't see any minorities are in that level. Same with the cricket. Essex, I don't think there isn't any Asian person or black person in the committee or making any decisions. None whatsoever. Even in a county level, coaching wise, we're talking about as well. You don't see any of them either. Now you see a few rounds, but before I never seen any brown people working in a senior level. So how am I supposed to have a role model in that type? How am I supposed to feel comfortable sometimes when I didn't? But if I had any Asians or any minority groups, I could have felt a little bit more comfortable, maybe. I don't know. But that time, I didn't. I didn't see any of that. I was the only British Bangladeshi ever to play professional cricket in this country. Since then, we had none coming through. And again, I worked in Tower Hamlets for 9 years. And again and again and again, they never got any opportunities to go any further. And it's always a problem. We had always a problem with that one. And again, there's a number of issues in that. I mean, I'm going to go into a little bit ECB, how they sort of tackle these issues. Well, they don't. What they've done all these years, they've segregated, giving some money or funding to Asian community, especially South Asian community, give them some money. Right, there you go, lads. There's some money for you guys. Go and do your things, do your competitions or whatever. And that's it. That's that. And again, segregating that. So what does that do? Yes, it allows these minorities to go and play, have some opportunity to play within themselves, but there's no exit route. Where do the kids go after that? And again, those Sunday leagues you see sometimes, this Asian league. Well, I mean, what the hell? What do you mean Asian league? What the hell? What the hell does that even mean?
Yeah,
Kind of have Asian league. You don't have a white league, do you? So segregating that and funding that from the governing body, that just tells me they just don't want any Asians to be going through the normal system that I went through the club, through the county trials, through the academy, then going to professional contract. I mean, what is wrong with that? Why aren't we?
They even have the Asian Cricket Awards that they funded at one stage, you know.
Why they fund all those things. They do all those things. They do all those charity case things where they just segregate people, divide them, and just keep the Asian people happy by giving some money there. There we go. That's it. Done. And this, I just never understood. You know, we are not. I keep saying this to everyone. We are not a charity case. Why do you see us differently than anyone else? I just don't understand that. Now, again, why do they do it? It could be race issue. It could be they're scared. If Asian people do come along, and there might be a lot of them are quite talented, so they might take over the changing room. You'll have too many Asian people playing, maybe. I don't know. It could be, that's what it seems like. That's why they're probably segregating it. I don't know. We won't know their intentions are. But I just never liked it. I've never liked these sort of things. I've been working for so many years now. You know, I just don't understand what is wrong with the normal system. You know, Webby, obviously, he's the chairman at Brentwood. And you know, he can probably speak to you more about these things, where club itself needs so much help from the ECB. And ECB needs to pull their fingers out and look into the clubs start with, and look into all the other institutional programs and things they do local in a local community, how they can work as a partnership with them, and how can they help the community and how help the clubs to make sure the kids come through the system and they have it, you know, then go to the next stage. Unfortunately, ECB has done nothing in that. They always go back to the old institutional program they've always done, and just to tick the boxes. Right, we've done this, we've done that, perfect, that's it, done. But they never ever solved any issues because they don't give a monkey about anything. They don't care.
You mean wearing T-shirts and having a slogan, and you know, that doesn't work?
No, action works. Word doesn't work. Nothing. It means nothing. The action plan they come up with, oh, it's great to hear. I've said that. I welcome all this action plan. We've heard this so many years of these promises and stuff, but never ever taking actions. Not only that, they might have taken action sometimes, but they never followed it up and never monitored it and just left it alone. And that's always been the case for so many years.
As we said, this action plan they've got one chance to not only produce the plan, 12 actions around 5 points, But they've got to see it through now. They've got to make tangible differences.
Webby, it's great. All the plans they got is brilliant. It sounds good. It's great. I just hope they make sure they stay on it. I guarantee you this, I hope it doesn't happen, but it's going to get to a stage when the media will stop talking about this. And as soon as that happens, I just hope that ECB also don't fade away from that, all this action plan they're talking about. And that's my only worry, is that fading away as soon as the media stop talking about it. But then what they need to realize, ECB, we have got the media behind us now. Anything goes wrong, we've got the media behind us. We can always come out and talk about it again. And they're not going to get away with it. And I will do anything in my power. If I spoke to Azim Rafiq about this, and I think we're both in the same page at the moment. We'll do anything to make sure it doesn't happen in our power. And we'll do anything to make sure in future generations do have good experience and have a proper system that works, and make sure everyone has an opportunity to play cricket properly. We're not talking about just picking, and again, like I said, I don't want to see this, and we don't want to, it's not a special case for us. We want to be seen as a normal human beings. We're just normal humans, just want to play cricket. Just
level playing field.
That's all we want. We don't want no charity case work. We don't want special treatment. We don't need that. We just need opportunities, and that's it. That's all we're asking. Not only the cricket I'm talking about, everything that we do in life, any work, anything in this whole society I'm talking about.
No, it's true. It's true. Are you hopeful for the future? Are you hopeful that we can get progress on this front?
I think so. I think ECB has realised they can't mess around anymore. I mean, we have the voice now. We have stood up. We have spoken out. We have got, like I said, we've got media behind us. We can always, if they don't do the job right, we can always raise voice again. And I feel a lot more confident than I did before to talk about it. People, I think they realize, it's been exposed, isn't it? So, I mean, they can't hide from that anymore. I'm sorry, but they realize enough is enough now. So we've got to take action and do something now. And I really hope it does work. I really hope. And I will, again, like I said, I will do whatever it takes to make it work, because all the work that I do, and we've been doing great work for so many years, all these years. And I just wish ECB would look into it. Funny I say that, ECB have responded to our program, which is a platform cricket program that we run. They have responded, and they're having a meeting with us. I think it was next week, sometimes. Also, I've had Essex, they come to me as well. They want to sit down and to talk about some action plans and how we can go forward. Anything I can give suggestions and help, they're more than welcome to listen to me. So in a way, already you can see there's some positivity going on. There's some meetings happening to make sure we can tackle those issues that we've been speaking about and how we can go forward. So it seems like it's going the right place at the moment.
And I guess that's the point, Jay, isn't it? That, playing devil's advocate, but going back to the part of the conversation a few minutes ago about, setting up an Asian league and everything, whoever did that may have been well-meaning. They may have done that with only positive intentions, but the fact that they didn't engage that community, presumably at that point, and involve people like yourselves, has created this issue.
Look, again, you're right. It's positive discrimination, I suppose. You could say that. But what they didn't realize is when you segregate that, he closes doors for some of those minorities, and they don't get to seen in the main clubs to perform. Because don't forget, when Essex or any counties, they look into club players, they look into the stats in Essex League stats or Kent League stats, whatever it is they look at the players. I'm not sure if these Asian leagues do have stats, to be honest. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But again, they wouldn't look at it twice. How many scouts do you go down and watching the lads are playing? I bet there's none. In Essex League, I know they do. I know there's some of the coaches go around in Essex, go watch some of the matches and see how they're getting on. So do you have scouts floating around? But again, that's just Asian leagues. You're not going to get that. You've got Asian leagues, you've got Sri Lankan league, you got these leagues goes on. I mean, what the hell? I mean,
yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry, but like I said, it's all segregated.
Yeah, you're right, and that's, I mean, up and down the country as well. I remember in Yorkshire, there's different leagues, again, Asian and whatever, and it kind of it almost creates its own blind alleyways, and it suits agendas because they're not going to look at those. They're going to let them get on with it. They say, oh, you're playing cricket, and they can focus on the mainstream stuff, if you like.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It happens in Birmingham as well, by the way. All the Pakistanis, they all play together. They're like same thing happens. Just get segregated. And I've always spoke about this to my boss before about this, and I said, listen, I don't like this. I don't really like it at all. I can't imagine myself just integrating with only the Asians. And I fit in a way, if you know, I think that's quite racist. For just Asians segregating and playing themselves, I thought that was very bad. It should be just humans playing humans. That's it. Just one kind, humankinds and playing. That's it. I don't see any other differently. Funny you say that, actually. The other day I was speaking to this lad who works with me, white lad. He works with me. We work as a coach. He grew up with in an area where grew up with Asians and blacks in area. I think it's Croydon, actually. He even said to me the other day, Jay, I never actually looked at anyone thinking, oh, there's a brown person, there's a black person. He just saw everyone just normal. We're all human beings. And that's it. That's how he saw them. And that was so great to hear that. I was so pleased that he saw it that way rather than anywhere else. And that's exactly what we got to get to. We've got to create an atmosphere where people just feel like just one kind, and that's it. Don't look into colors, don't look into religion, cultures, just ignore that around it. And respect that. Respect if there's someone is a bit different, just make sure you respect that. And that's how it should be, you know. And we need to get to that stage, you know.
And it's also, I think, important in amongst all this to maintain a bit of humour, maintain a bit of fun when you're playing. You know, enjoy playing cricket and enjoy the off-field stuff, but just don't make somebody the butt of inappropriate humour or whatever else. You don't have to be offensive to have a laugh.
Oh gosh, hell no. You can't. I mean, sorry, but I don't find that funny when people talk about the religion, culture. I mean, you can take a mick out everyone by talking about the personal cricketing skills, how rubbish they are, the bowling or batting or fielding. You can do that rather than doing the other things. I mean, you could easily do so many things to take the mick out of people. But when it comes to that, religion, culture, and when it comes to race, I'm sorry, there's a line to that, and you cannot step over that line, I'm afraid. That's just too much.
Fantastic points, and you've articulated yourself so well. I know there must be a lot of anger and emotion behind all of this, but really you've come across fantastically, and I think you've...
You know, funny you say that, because yes, it does get me wind up a bit, but I got to say though, do you know what, after speaking about it, and I hope you feel that passion I've got behind it as well. And it actually makes me feel good afterwards, because what I'm trying to do at the moment is make that awareness, making sure I speak to whoever I can speak to, get the word around, spread the word around so people understand it. We can educate people and we can talk about these things, and then we can take actions. And that's exactly what I feel good about right now, is doing all these things, what I'm doing right now. And that's what makes me really happy now. And hopefully I will have some little bit power, a bit of voice to go further than what we're doing, to make changes. I mean, that's just my main priority at the moment. People like you guys obviously talking about this is brilliant. I'm so happy that you guys obviously taking actions, talking about it, getting it out there. is brilliant. And that's exactly what we need. We need the community to step up, the whole society to step up, and wherever we can help out, brilliant. Any little changes we can make, that's all we need.
Well, like you say, you know, you've got the media behind you, and you've now got 98 Not Out, the mighty 98 Not Out.
Yes.
Finalist of UK Cricket Podcast of the Year. It doesn't get any better.
There we go. Exactly.
You're going to the moon, my friend.
Who did you name after that 98? Is that someone been getting out? Keep 98.
98 FM. We're on Phoenix 98 FM, so that's where that comes from. So 98 FM, yes, 98 Not Out.
I thought he was probably taking a mick out of someone who keeps getting out on 98.
Or bowling average.
Or his golf score, yeah.
That's pretty good, yeah. But yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate that, though. Really appreciate that.
Oh, fantastic. You've been absolute quality. And we wish you all the best. And we will keep in touch. We are on this. Webby and I have been on this whole thing for well over a year. We were there at the start. We will continue to keep the spotlight on this, trying to find a solution, trying to get a positive outcome for this whole thing.
We all do. We all do, mate. Honestly, I think... Sorry, I know I've taken a lot of time of yours, but just one thing I just want to iterate is that just that platform cricket, for example, I'll give you an example. Like the other day, I stood up, I literally stood on the side. We're just running these hub sessions in the evening. And actually it was a Blackheath training. But in that Blackheath training, I looked at, just every single kid was there. And it literally put a big smile on my face to see people from white background, Black, Asian, Moroccan, we've got Spanish, we've got Mexican. It was unbelievable. Just to stand there, I say to myself, why can't we have this all the time, everywhere? Just people just having a bit of laugh, enjoying the sport that we all love, and just get on with it. And just, that's how it should be. And I just wish it's something that we all can do to make that happen. And I really hope ECB do look into our work, you know, because it just makes me so happy. And that's why I never left that workplace, because I believe in it. Yeah, it doesn't pay good money. It never does when it comes to these sort of coaching stuff that we do. And like I said, we are involved in schools, educational side of it. And we still don't get enough money to support a lot of things that we do. But I just wish ECB just come and look at it, just for once, come and see that our work, what we do, and just support that. And you see how much difference we can make. All these issues we're talking about, we can tackle those issues so easily. It would have been so much better if we actually did work together with them.
JAHID Ahmed, many, many, many thanks. What a fantastic conversation we've had there. We will get you back in the future to see how it's all going.
Yeah, look forward to it. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.